Good morning, traders. It's Monday, August 19th. Taking a look at the charts, we got equities are mixed this morning. SP 500 and NASDAQ slightly positive. Dow and the Russell slightly negative. So a little bit of a mixed market this morning. We had a pretty strong run when we look at the daily chart over the past week and a half, ripping to the upside after huge panic kind of washout low in the markets. The overall trend is trying to turn to the upside. On our momentum 30-minute chart, we have gone from the trend turning down to a couple of short signals to the trend pushing up through the 20-day moving average and kicking momentum back into the upward bias on this is just a 30-minute momentum chart. The daily chart is getting closer to a trigger. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion because I always jump around between different time frames. So our daily chart analysis points to we are getting close to this market actually generating potentially a new buy trigger for some type of upward move in the market. Now, we'll have to see if we get that. It all depends on a lot of different things, cycles that come into play, money flows, overall momentum, and all that stuff. But we are potentially getting closer to the stock market trying to find another move. This cycle low is the same as this cycle low and actually happened to be the same cycle low over here. So we'll have to just see what kind of legs we get. Obviously, this was a very strong move that we caught. This was another nice move that we caught. This one's a little bit more volatile, and maybe this one wants to push up a little bit higher, and we get another move. I do think it might correct and pull back and chop around a bit before pushing up. But volatility is increasing in terms of price action, and I think we're going to see some pretty wild markets over the next little bit. So short-term wise, we might see a bit of a pullback and a little bit of a push higher. Don't know if it's going to go to new all-time highs or not. But short-term wise, we have potentially a new entry trigger to see if the markets want to push higher. The momentum is showing some strength. Now, from a very different standpoint, I also always talk about how this market is very close to a major market top. This scenario that we have here, the underlying technicals in market health, is the same as this scenario here. Now, all I'm trying to warn everybody here is on the longer term chart, we are getting close to potentially a market top where the market is going to fall out of favor for a long time potentially. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to take long positions. In fact, we had several long positions through here to catch some of these rallies in 2022. And we took advantage of other asset classes like the rising dollar during the downward moves in 2022. So long term, we are still in a bullish market. The daily chart is potentially generating a new trigger in the next few days. We'll have to just see how that unfolds. But we are seeing, just looking forward, be mentally prepared for a bigger multi-year potentially correction where this time coming around could be much bigger than the 2022. In fact, we could break the 2022 lows and go way, way below that, depending how that goes. But don't get them confused. This is the TTI, the weekly kind of investing strategy. We want to know if we are in a bull market, a rising tide, a bear market, a falling tide, or a bull market, a rising tide. We have trend change signals whenever these happen. So we are still in a rising tide environment. And just because I feel like, and it looks like the markets are going to pull back, doesn't mean, they're going to pull back. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get long on the shorter term strategies. Let's take a look at the rest of the markets today. We do have bonds up about 0.5% this morning, continuing to kind of build a little bit of a pennant formation. So it's had a very nice run to the upside, kind of creating a little bit of a pause. This is pointing to a pennant formation is bullish, pointing to higher pricing. You can see here on the 30-minute chart, the trend changed from orange to green, had a couple of oversold market conditions where the markets rallied up. Short-term wise, it hit target 1, target 2, and now it's kind of just channeling and coiling, building energy for potentially the next run higher to the upside. Now, we don't trade these short-term momentum plays. They're a very different strategy, but it gives us an idea of what is to come on the daily chart and gives us a visual, a very granular level of oversold and targets and overbought and pullbacks and things like that. It's funny, the sectors are all over the place. GDX was at the bottom of the list not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Now it is at the very top of the list, just showing percentage-wise and how quickly the momentum can shift. Again, we have been favoring the precious metal space because that is where we are in the grand scheme of things. When we take a look at our stage analysis, let's just go back over here. We're in a stage 3, which precious metals like gold, energy stocks, industrials all do well just before a major market top or during. They actually continue to do well after the stock market has topped. They'll hold up for potentially several weeks, even sometimes a couple of months. As the stock market goes sideways or down, these 3 particular groups of stocks can actually keep moving higher or hold their value very well. So that's kind of where we are in that grand scheme of things. Now, if we take a look at the SP 500 seasonality wise, August is generally a strong rally. This is exactly what we've seen. We're coming into potentially the end of this week. Stock market might stall out and start to go into a sell-off for the next 2 months into an October low. So we'll see if this bounce is just a dead cat bounce or if it is more or less the start of a new uptrend. We'll have to see how that unfolds. In terms of gold, generally does very well in August and really just keeps on trucking into the end of the year. So gold is on a major breakout to the upside. It has a very strong chart. We have been watching it and talking about this pretty much play by play, bar by bar. Well, let's just zoom out here. We have a series of bull flags where it has rallied up, flagged out, rallied up, flagged out, and it is squeezing to the upside, looking like it's ready to pop and really run. The upside targets here are 2650, 2650, and 2750. So there's still quite a bit of room for it to run and expand. And gold miners are now kind of jumping and taking the lead on our hot list, showing us that, hey, they're getting some traction. Now, they haven't hit new highs yet, but they're coming to life. Again, they're always really volatile. So are silver miners and silver in the grand scheme of things. They're much more volatile all over the place. Silver struggling a little bit more because it's more of a trade. It's a speculative play versus gold is a defensive store of value. They are similar but very different in how they move and who trades them and how they fluctuate. They are really totally different beasts. Silver generally will play catch up after gold and miners sometimes run. Silver can be a bit of a late bloomer. Anyways, that's it for now. Talk to you soon.